Hi guys, you're welcome to another episode of Mailbox. We'll be addressing different mails from different people from all over the world. My name once again is Adesho. Our first mail today is from Chuks. Chuks is from Nigeria. His mail says, "Was I wrong here? I missed my girlfriend's call around 8 p.m. because I was working. She wanted to ask what I would eat, but since I didn't answer, she cleaned the kitchen. By the time I called back, I asked if she could make me eggs and bread. Nothing serious. She flared up, ranting about how late it was and how she had already cleaned. I even offered to make it myself, but she kept going. Honestly, I was tired. I work, I provide. Did I deserve that kind of treatment?" Hi, Chuk. So, on the issue of relationship, sometimes there are minor issues like this. So, in as much as you've been very tired all day, it's also possible that your girlfriend has a story to tell. Of course, if she's the same person that called you to fix food for you, and it's the same person that is acting this way, understand that she's acting from a place of love, genuinely. All she needed was for you to probably be kind enough to tell her. It's even possible that you didn't tell her your movements before that call. So because most times, little things that causes issues in relationship are not even the issues. Maybe there are conversations around that main issue. So it's possible that if maybe you didn't even tell her you were staying back late, you didn't tell her when you were being held, maybe in an hold up or at work, according to your story. And I'm sure her flaring up might be as a result of something entirely different, or maybe accumulated anger based on your own non-communication. So what I would advise is that instead of getting tired each time issues like this come up, because conversations around partners nagging or somebody complaining, I think there are issues that needs to be addressed. You shouldn't brush it off. Once anything happens between you and your partner, you guys must be ready to address it in love. Not that you'll be arguing, not that you'll be confrontational. You want to talk to her about her attitude. She also wants to speak to you about your actions. By the time you guys have it in form of a conversation, I'm sure issues like this won't be any problem. So you want to say something like, "Oh, next time you're going to be late, just let me know. You can send me a message," or there are some subtle way in which you can speak to your partner beyond every other person flaring up. Because the truth about the matter is, the life in itself is so stressful. People are passing through different challenges. So it will be advisable that you should show compassion. You should be kind, no matter how little. It's not all the time that you have to raise your voice in expressing yourself. You don't have to make noise. All these little things, they count in a relationship. So Chuks, I'd advise that don't get tired, and stop saying, "Oh, I work, I provide." So it's already looking like, oh, our job is just to nag. No, I'm sure genuinely she loves you, and this journey is going somewhere. So if you guys can pray with each other and pray for each other, clear-cut communication, I'm sure all these issues will be resolved. Chuks, I hope I've been able to address your mail. Our next mail for Zinle from South Africa. He or she said, "Am I overreacting? I asked my husband a harmless question the other day. Who would he pick between me and his late wife? Without thinking, he said, her, of course. I've been supportive through his grief, loved him fully, yet he still picked her. Now I don't know how to act around him. Am I overreacting? Zinle, I think you should take it easy. Yes, you may be overreacting. I'm not saying categorically that you're overreacting, but you may be overreacting. So when people are going through grief, you really can't say when or where it's going to stop, you know. And sometimes they overreact too based on whatever they are going through. You wouldn't blame them as such. I think when people are grieving, the only part where your support can genuinely come in is in the place of prayer. You should always remember him in your place of prayer so that God will help him, you know, whatever the situation or whatever the challenge or whatever is bringing, you know, that attitude, God should help you control it. And I'm sure over time, everything would make sense, because the truth about the matter is, I think for him too, he hasn't healed as such, because for him to pick the dead woman over you, it means that they still have some form of bond. Don't forget that you really didn't disclose. We don't know the number of years that they both spent together, you know. I mean, I'm sure whatever the number of years, they were couples, and I'm sure there are some bonds that they shared that the guy has not really been able to detach. So I think you should just be patient with him, understand the process and understand what he's trying to go through, and don't take everything. In fact, whatever reaction is even saying, in fact, that question, I don't think it shouldn't even be asked. It's a very insensitive question for you to be asking. In fact, you say harmless question. It's actually harmful. That question is harmful because the guy is actually going through grief. You can't begin to throw questions that has to do with issues like that. It's just like somebody that has lost the dad, and then the next question you want to ask is that, how do you feel a father should do to a son or a child? You are being insensitive. So I just think those kind of questions shouldn't even be asked at all. Talk less of him responding to it. So try as much as possible to stand for him in the place of prayer. And I hope I've been able to address your mail, Zinle, to a certain extent. That will take us to our last mail of today from Fola. Fola is from Nigeria. We actually got a lot of mails from Nigerians on this episode. My friend keep telling her man my secret. Hello, Mailbox. Please, is it normal for a friend to tell her partner everything, including things I shared with her in confidence? I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. Each time we talk, somehow her boyfriend ends up knowing my private issue. I didn't sign up for this. Should I confront her or just keep my distance? So there's always a misconception, you know, with best friends, partners, and the like. So there are some people that really don't have control of information or their mouth or their thought process. Once you identify that your friend is that kind of a person, I think it's on you to be careful of the kind of information that you share with her. Of course, probably she's closer with her partner and you are still living in denial because she was once your best friend. You're still assuming that the whole conversation is still the same way it used to be. So she now has another best friend, which of course in this question is her own partner. So there's tendency that she keeps telling him everything you tell her. So I think what you would just do is, I don't even think you should take offense. What you should just do is that you should be careful of the kind of information that you share with her. It doesn't stop her from being your friend. It doesn't stop her from being who you are. She has just grown. She has changed. You two grow up and change. So be careful of the kind of information that you share with her. Any other information that you know you don't want a third party, to know about, or you feel is a secret or confidential, I think it's better you just keep it to yourself. Once you already identify that your friend cannot do without her sharing your information with her partner. So Fola, I hope I've been able to address your message. So guys, that'll be all on this episode of Mailbox. Till next time, my name is Adesho. God bless you.